Welcome to the Wellness Help Desk with your host, Nikayla Modi, certified wellness coach and personal trainer. A wellness podcast focused on providing practical tips on how to curate a healthy lifestyle uniquely for you, where we discuss wellness hot topics with expert guests and have real candid conversations. It's the one-stop shop you need to get the help you've been looking for. Let's dive in. Hey, what's up, and welcome to the Wellness Help Desk. I'm your host, Nikayla Modi, and this is episode 49. Whoa, we are almost to episode 50. What is even happening? If you've been listening to the podcast from the very beginning, number one, thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me to know that I'm not talking to myself in the void. And number two, I appreciate your support. And number three, I hope you stick around, and I hope you share this with whoever you know needs to hear it. So today, I really wanted to share this. I recently was working through this with my client, and I was like, this hits for everybody as an eldest daughter. If you are an eldest daughter who tends to feel really nervous, anxious, or just not confident going into talking about money with a friend, a sibling, parents, or a partner because you're afraid that I can't say what I really want or how I really feel, and you feel like you have to just yield to what the other person wants. You want them to be happy. You don't want to feel like you're asking for too much. And also you don't want to feel like, am I going to come off as micromanaging? Then this is the conversation for you, because my client was feeling the exact same things as an eldest daughter. So she is going to be moving in with her long distance boyfriend at the end of this year to London. And I'm so excited for her. We've been working together now for a little over a year. So I have just seen the progress, the transformation, the growth. And I'm just so happy that this is a goal that she has had for a long time, and it is actually happening. And so with this new chapter, with this new growth, comes new territory, new skills that need to be developed. And so she was wondering in this session, she asked me, hey, how do I have this conversation with my boyfriend about our plans financially for furnishing the apartment, or whether or not we should split paying bills, or how we should delegate buying household toiletries. Like, she just felt very unsure about how to approach this conversation, how to have this conversation. And I could just tell by her body language, she just even telling me about it was getting nervous and uncomfortable, as if he was on the Zoom call. So she just wanted to make sure that both him and her were on the same page, but also she didn't want to come off like she was being micromanaging or nagging him about it. So here's what I asked her that immediately made it clear to her what she did want to do. And so I asked her, what is going to make you feel the safest? And by asking her that question, she was able to rattle off very quickly, well, I know I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to do that. And honestly, doing it this way and saying this will help me feel the best. And that is exactly why I asked her that question. And I think as eldest daughters, we don't tend to first check in with ourselves. We immediately go to what's going to be best for the other person, for everybody else. We're just so considerate of everyone but ourselves. But when you feel safe, you don't have your guard up, you're super clear on what you do want, and you just freely express yourself without getting in your head about it or thinking about, oh, what is this other person going to think? By asking her that, she knew, okay, this is what would make me feel the safest. So I'm like, great, now we know that. That's the most important thing to know. And then the second thing that we did was create what her financial boundary would be surrounding living with her partner. This was informed by what made her feel safe. Notice that you need to create a boundary that is being informed by what makes you feel the safest. Okay? And so by doing that, it will allow for her to feel good in her body and in her conversation with her partner, because we created a boundary that makes her feel safe. And knowing what her boundary is and how to follow through on it is going to allow for her to know how to voice her needs when her and her partner are out shopping for the apartment, or he wants to get a more pricier piece, because she already knows what her boundary is. right? She knows how to follow through on it. And in one-on-one coaching, we create like a personalized boundary care plan where we outline like any obstacles that you perceive coming up in that relationship if you were to follow through on a boundary, and how you can strategize working through that obstacle. And we talk about in this boundary care plan how you're going to take care of yourself. So you are set up to thrive in boundary care when you're in one-on-one coaching. Now, the last thing that I did was provide her with a prompt on how to start this conversation with her partner about her financial boundary, about their financial plans for living together in a non-confrontational, non-aggressive, or micromanagey way. Also, it didn't sound like a script, right? I made it to where it could be something that was in like her voice. It was super succinct, very straight and to the point. And instead, this prompt invited her partner to feel like he had say, but it also firmly emphasized what her boundary was surrounding the finances and their relationship with moving in together, and that her boundary would be clear to him. And so this prompt that I gave her, she immediately was like, oh, yeah, that actually is easy. Okay, great. And I love that for her because I want her to go into the conversation feeling safe, feeling confident, and feeling prepared. And that's exactly how she expressed that she was. She was like, I'm so excited to have this conversation with him. And now she's prepared to have this conversation. And we created a boundary that helps her feel safe. She also is going to be confident going into this conversation with her partner. Now, I want to remind you that even though she felt excited and prepared and confident, it doesn't mean she won't be a little bit nervous, right? We all are going to experience some sense of feeling around something that's new for us. It's a new skill. We're a beginner at it. But that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean anything bad. It just means, hey, I'm new at this. And the more that I do it, the easier it will become. And I can do this. Believe it or not, doing those 3 things took us about 10 minutes to address it. And then we were able to move on to the next thing that she wanted coaching around. So imagine doing that by yourself, being in your head for weeks. How am I going to have this conversation? Should I talk about this? Does that make me feel selfish? I don't know. And then whatever ways you usually cope with things, you go do that, distract yourself. And then you come back to it like, I really need to have this conversation because I'm planning things out. Imagine how much time she saved herself because we were able to work through that together in our one-on-one coaching session that created a plan. And boom, she was able to know exactly how she could have that conversation with him. And I'm excited to check in with her in our next session to say, hey, how did that conversation go? And so as an eldest daughter, to have healthy relationships with the people in our lives, we need to know what makes us feel the safest, because that's going to inform a lot of what our boundaries are. And when we know that our boundary makes us feel safe, it is so much easier to be ourselves, to express our needs, and to be able to feel grounded in the relationships we have with the people in our life, because we know what makes us feel safe and what needs to happen in order for us to feel safe. And in one-on-one coaching, I teach you how to use 2 evidence-based eldest daughter skills that will equip you to know exactly what makes you feel safe so that you're prepared for any conversation where you don't have to self-sacrifice what you want in order to just yield to what the other person wants. You are so aware of what makes you feel safe that you are able to create your boundaries, whether they're financial, emotional, or physical boundaries. Just like my client, she now is going into this conversation with her partner discussing money, feeling ready and knowing that she's also having her back and is open to hearing what her partner has to contribute to what his thoughts are about their money and how he also wants to navigate their finances living together. To hear exactly how you can use these 2 evidence-based eldest daughter skills in your present relationships to get more of what you want, schedule a free consultation call via the link in the show notes. That is it for today's episode. And as always, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. And I will catch you all in the next episode, which will be episode 50. That is wild. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed the episode today, head over and leave me a review. This helps others find the podcast and be one step closer to curating their healthy lifestyle. Come connect with me over on Instagram at Nike_Lamodi. And if social isn't your thing, Join my beautiful newsletter community via the link in the show notes. To learn more about exclusive one-on-one wellness coaching, head over to rndaywellness.com. As always, remember to give yourself grace.